Hey everyone, I'm Bradley and welcome to Zlangle. First off, this whole video contains spoilers for Avengers Endgame, so if you haven't seen it, please don't watch this video until then. But for you fellow true believers who have already seen it, which is pretty much everyone, this is my opinion on how Kevin Feige, Marcus McFeely, and the Russos handled Thor in Endgame. In all of the marketing for the film, they showed Thor as he was in Avengers Infinity War. Short hair, Asgardian attire, cape, Stormbreaker, and a thirst for vengeance. And in the first 20 minutes or so of the film, he is like that, because it takes place right after the snap. But after he murders Thanos by beheading him, he just walks out. And the next time we see Thor, after the 5-year time gap, he was a bit unexpected. They did a great job over at Marvel, keeping a lot of things a secret, and this is one of them. Thor is out of shape, given up, and pretty pathetic actually. And while it's a bit off-putting, it's not entirely unexpected, or at least it wasn't inconsistent with his character or story arc from the past few films. Recently, I did a video on Thor and talked about what happens to a character like this when he is stripped down and loses everything he cares about. Well, now we see the final stage of Thor's losses, after losing Mjolnir, Loki, his mother, Odin, his sister, Heimdall, his eye, the Warriors 3, Jane, Asgard, and then the final fight against Thanos. I thought there wasn't much else he could lose. All he had left was vengeance. But that was the last thing he lost. In the beginning of Endgame, the team decides to go after Thanos after finding out where he was.
We'd be going in short-handed, you know?
Look, he's still got the stones, so...
So let's get him. Use them to bring everyone back.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that. Let's go get this son of a bitch.
And then Thor swooped in and killed him. So he won, right? After losing the battle in Infinity War, he could now claim victory. Except for the fact that they didn't find a way to bring everybody back from the dead that had dusted. So with no one else to hold hatred for, and no solution to the devastation, he went off alone for the next 5 years. And when we next see him, Hulk and Rocket Raccoon go find him at New Asgard, a place he created for the remnants of the surviving Asgardians. I would argue that the state at which we find Thor after 5 years of nothing to do, no battle to fight, no vengeance to have, and no help to be given, actually makes sense. I understand it's a bit of a shock, but it's a result of everything Thor has been through in the MCU. Remember, in the first Thor movie, while he was excited about the prospect of becoming king, Odin knew he wasn't quite ready, and he eventually realized it as well. After being forced to step up and take that responsibility, he feels like he blew it. He let his father and his kingdom down. And then he couldn't even fix the universe-wide problem that Thanos caused, despite being so close to stopping the Mad Titan in the first place. So pretty much, what I'm saying is that, to me, Thor being a chubby, out-of-shape drunk that wants nothing to do with the Avengers anymore worked for me in the context of the film. Is it ideal? No, of course not. But ideal doesn't always make for the best story. Besides, at the climax of the film, when Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor all try to take on the time-traveling Thanos from 2014, he does show that he's still powerful. Maybe not at top strength, compared to, say, Infinity War or the first Thor movie, but he is still the son of Odin, god of thunder. And after that touching scene in Endgame, where Thor gets to speak to his mother before she dies, he reaches out his hand. And sure enough, Mjolnir flies into his grasp. The look on his face is one of pure jubilation, as he confirms that after everything that has happened since Ragnarok, he is still worthy of the power of Thor. After the Battle of Earth, where he greatly helped Cap and Tony defeat Thanos once and for all, he later named Valkyrie the new Queen of Asgard. And I feel that this may be the last of Thor's journey of the throne. I feel like with the help of the advice that his mother gave him, he's come to the realization that he was not meant to be king of Asgard, no matter how much he tried. Despite how much he was supposed to be king, he just isn't. And maybe that deviates a bit from the comics, but for the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Thor, it makes sense. Ever since being banished to Earth as immortal by Odin, he's widened his horizons.
You're unworthy! Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
And has become more preoccupied with protecting Earth and the other realms from threats, than gaining power and keeping a kingdom in check. And while the Lebowski jokes and the fat jokes and the drunk jokes were funny, I did find that they may have went on a little longer than they should have. But even then, that's just a tiny nitpick. But if you didn't like the humor at Thor's expense at all, I totally understand. Thor is this awesome, epic god, and to merely reduce him to this, for what might seem to be just for comedy, can look like they are dishonoring the character. But in my opinion, it wasn't just for comedy. The humor was just a way to ease the audience into this new look at Thor, but there was a lot more behind it than that. This is the logical next step in the journey for Thor in this universe. After losing everything, then winning, but still having pretty much lost, and then winning again in the end, but still having lost everything he lost. To wrap up, when I really thought about it, Avengers Endgame actually gave him a chance to see a lot of things he lost. He got to see Loki for just a second, be in Asgard again, see Jane once more, talk with his mother, retrieve and use Mjolnir again in battle, and he didn't get any of them back permanently. Maybe that helped him deal with his losses better, or maybe that made it harder for him, seeing these things and people he once had just to be ripped away from him once again. But in the end, he now knows not to take things he has for granted, and not to try to be what he should be, but merely be who he is. Which is apparently spaceship bunkmates with a tree and a raccoon. But we'll see where he goes from here. Nuff said, and Excelsior.